St. Pat's was actually a holiday resort for the brothers that came to Singapore in the early 19th century. Brother Stephen Buckley decided to turn this land from a holiday bungalow into a school. If you ask people of the 40s and 50s and even in the 60s, they will graciously refer to St. Pat's as the school by the sea. And the first batch of 38 boys started school in the 16th of January 1933. So being a Catholic institution, most of the decorations and the statues that you find are mostly Catholic oriented. At the portico of the school is this piece they call Resurrection, and at the back of the school where the brothers reside is a sculpture he calls St. Patrick. Very abstract, but you still can recognize features of the sculptor. One statue that stands out is the statue of Our Lady, or what the Catholics believe as the Mother of Jesus. And many call this statue of Our Lady as Our Lady of Katong. And the school was always open, and many a time you could actually see people just coming to the statue and just saying a short prayer or so and just leaving the school. We know that during the wartime, that statue was taken by the Japanese. It ended up in a scrap yard and somehow or other found its way to the Tanjong Pagar railway station. British soldier recognized it and brought it back to the school. Unfortunately, by the time he brought it back to the school, the hands were missing. So Brother McNally painstakingly restored her hands to whatever images or pictures that they had of the statue. The British were here first. They used this as a command center. When the British surrendered, the Japanese came in. What they did was they used this place as the Kampatai headquarters. The Japanese used the chapel above as a messing hall or a dining hall, I would say. All our chapel things, they did not destroy it. We had the Stations of the Cross there. What they did was they just covered it with rice paper. So they didn't destroy it in any way. When the Australians came in after the Japanese left, the so-called library of the school was actually used as an operating theatre. The classrooms were used as wards for the soldiers to recover. And when the war ended, we had this special march. The students actually walked back from Telok Kurau to East Coast Road as a symbol of returning home. In those days, there were 3 septic tanks. That's where the gentlemen settle our differences. Now, if you had an argument with somebody and you were not happy with the outcome, the next step to take was to meet at the septic tank, where you will settle your differences for once and for all. If it got ugly, you'll get ugly too. Outcome of it was whatever was settled there is settled. It will not recur. Another place most of us, or in fact all of us, hanged out in was the chapel. We're naughty, we're boisterous, we're rascals, okay? But when it came to tests or examinations, you will find the chapel full. We believed in divine intervention, and it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop, even though there were nearly about 100 people in the chapel praying for the same thing to pass. or to get good marks for the tests or the oncoming exams. You always felt serenity in the chapel. You always felt that you were being looked after while you were in the chapel. Right across from the principal, right down to the cleaner, everybody found solace or that special place in the chapel. There was an area behind the school laboratory. There was damn good fishing ground. After school, we used to sit there, maybe do your homework, but definitely some of us fished, especially when the tide was high in the canal. Later on, when my boys were here, it was an automatic choice. I remember putting on one of my sons the option form. There were 6 options. I put all the 6 options St. Patrick's, and so he just came to St. Patrick's automatically. And it was an unforgiving thing if you're from St. Pat's and you didn't send your son to St. Pat's. While doing the work in the alumni as well as the parent support group, I was also roped in to do work in the management committee. And what I did was whatever extra things I had outside, I just stopped and I concentrated on St. Pat's, because after all these years, it dawned on me that this is the best years of my life and it's time to give back what I got out from the school.